I'm joined in the studio by world affairs analyst Marco Vicenzino. It turned into a coronation rather than a competition, didn't it? But he's got power with less votes. Do you think that's going to see a few problems down the line?
I think in historical retrospect, there won't be a coronation. I think it was more of a Pyrrhic victory or a hollow victory, because everyone was expecting him to win an outright victory in the first round, which he failed to do. Prince Ali, who was his competitor, was far more statesmanlike in his approach, and he demonstrated that he has the support of over 1/3 of the members of FIFA are behind him and committed to real reform. So in that sense, it was definitely a loss for FIFA and a hollow victory for Blatter. Going back in terms of what does this do, the next steps ahead, much I think will depend upon the judicial and the legal and judicial processes, not only in the United States, which American prosecutors have promised a few more rounds, more of indictments, and more indictments are to follow. And also you have the Swiss case for the 2018 and 22 World Cup bids, and the UK is considering potential charges, and other countries as time goes by. So I think you have to let the legal judicial process unfold. And
to see if he becomes any weaker.
Exactly.
We'll talk about UEFA in a moment, but Sepp Blatter sought to downplay the criminal proceedings. He described it as an issue, as infractions with the marketing company in the Americas. Do you think that could be Blatter's first wrong move, to kind of try and downplay the seriousness of these allegations?
I think his acceptance speech after his becoming president for the 5th term was fairly incoherent and rambling. His press conference today wasn't marked by the language necessary in light of what's going on, and this is an existential crisis for FIFA. I think for the most part he uses the wrong language. It's a language of victimization, a language of conspiracy. These indictments are based upon 3 years of solid legal investigation. What results, the outcome we need to see, but simply dismiss him the way he does is wrong, and it undermines the seriousness of the charges, and I think how much he needs to compensate for if he wants to restore the credibility of FIFA.
We've got very little time, so let's battle through these questions. UEFA began threatening to remove European teams if he became president again. That's happened. Do you think UEFA are going to carry out their threat?
I think UEFA is going to take a cautious wait-and-see approach and see how the legal process unfolds before making firm decisions.
OK. Now, Blatter is not named in the indictment, although you're suggesting that there could be another round to come out. He denies having anything to do with an alleged $10 million bribe. Do you think he is found to be some way implicated? Where will that leave his presidency and indeed FIFA?
Obviously, if he himself is indicted, that practically, in my opinion, seals the end of his presidency. More people that are indicted that are in the upper ranks and closer to him, the weaker he becomes. In that sense,
and vice presidents and former vice presidents are kind of up there, aren't they?
And if there's more members of the executive committee, the pressure will build up for him to resign. So I think in that sense, once again, I go back to that point. One needs to have let the legal process unfold in the U.S. and Switzerland and potentially other countries.
Where does this leave FIFA's relationships with its sponsors? Because they were the people that were kind of trying to apply pressure as well.
There's been an exchange of letters between Sepp Blatter and the sponsors, including Visa, McDonald's, who've expressed very, very serious concern about what's going on. I think also the sponsors are going to take a wait-and-see approach, as does UEFA and everyone else, to see how the legal process unfolds. Much depends on that. One cannot jump to conclusions. If you have more indictments and serious indictments that get closer to Blatter, the weaker he becomes, the more pressure builds up for him to resign.
Marco Vicenzino, I'm sure we're going to be talking about this subject again in the future, but thanks very much.
Thank you.